Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, Bashem, Rakakadash, the bottom of the apostles and the elders at GMS, the ruling teach word in scripture. Salutation to Akim, brothers, working truth and faith in the knowledge sincerity. Today's lesson is basically going to be about, what the other Israelites are basically denying the fact of the C hip. Okay, that RFID C hip. And basically, I want to entitle it IUIC. You got a lot of explaining to do. And so, without further ado, we can get right to it. This is the WEF, and let's just hear what they have to say about it.
The central bank digital currencies must be implanted under your skin if you want to participate in society. Yes, you heard that correctly. Greetings, everyone. This is John Contreras, Greek American news journalist, and you are watching the news with Greek News on Demand. Our website address is GreekNewsOnDemand.com. Please visit it today. And for all of our English readers, please visit our English article section here. And before we get to our article of the day, please follow me on social media, John Contreras. Please like our professional page, Greek News on Demand, John Contreras, on Facebook. Please follow our profile here on Twitter, Greek News on Demand. Please follow me personally on Instagram, John Contreras. And also, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Greek News on Demand, where we publish videos both in Greek as well as in English. So, according to the revealing news website, thepeoplesvoice.tv, the World Economic Forum basically has the intention to roll out the mark of the beast and to force everyone to basically be implanted with a small chip under the skin if they want to have access to both food, their bank accounts, etc., etc. The World Economic Forum has declared that all citizens...
We told you about this, Nate. Okay, we're about to enter into the hour of temptation. Okay, what that means is Jacob's trouble is about to be unleashed as soon, Lord willing, possible, this rolls out. Okay, although we don't have an exact chronologically set of events to unroll. We can tell you what's going on. We just can't give you the exact order in some cases. So, like the headline said, apostles and elders were always right. Okay? And I've known about this even in the 90s about the microchip. So there's going to be a lot of hell to tell the captain. There's going to be a lot of hell to tell the captain, and the captain is Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Okay, starting with Yahweh, then to Yahushua. Okay, then to 144,000. Okay, and then to the rest of children and women of the elect of Israel. And so I'll just go ahead let this finish up.
Citizens must be implanted with a CBDC microchip in the very near future in order to be able to fully participate in society and do basic things such as purchase food and water. That is according to Professor Richard Werner. In the very near future, citizens will, quote, need to use the latest technology, end quote, such as a, quote, CBDC chip implant, end quote, in order to access their bank accounts. Okay? So this guy has a pretty big resume. Check it out here. He is the creator of the quantitative easing monetary policy, which he proposed to Japan back in 1995. Okay? So this is, of course, according to major top news websites like expose-news.com, which reports at the Amsterdam Science Summit in 2022, Professor Werner gave a lecture on a central bank digital currency and on the 2030 agenda of the World Economic Forum. At the sidelines of this year's Amsterdam Science Summit, he spoke to Ivor Cummins about CBDCs and how high inflation has been orchestrated by central banks to further their agenda. Imagine that, okay? They orchestrated high inflation in order to carry out their agenda. And that's the reason why you and I are both seeing high inflation everywhere. Both at the grocery store, at the gas pump, etc., etc. Professor Werner proposed quantitative easing 2, which allows the central bank to force the banks to create more money and push it into the economy. This would be accomplished with central banks buying assets, for example, property from non-bank sectors. Okay. Quantitative easing 1 was followed by Japan in the 1980s, but the USA disallowed Japan subsequently using quantitative easing 2. And then, out of the blue and at the wrong time, quantitative easing 2 was adopted by the US Federal Reserve and other central banks in March of 2020, right around the start of the fake pandemic, in other words. There you go. Here's the real reason why they pulled the so-called COVID pandemic on us. The intention of adopting quantitative easing 2 at the time was to cause high inflation. Why? To move economies into a CBDC system. And of course, the fake war in Ukraine expedited all this, okay? They're behind this war in Ukraine too, okay? The World Economic Forum, all right? Yes, people are dying. Yes, there's real battles going on, but the World Economic Forum orchestrated all of it, okay? And they control both sides, by the way, both Putin and Zelensky. So, as we go down here a little bit further, we read, in March of 2022, the Federal Reserve and other key central banks adopted quantitative easing 2, a recommendation for deflation or a shrinking economy. In March of 2020, notice the day here, March of 2020, economies weren't shrinking, but the Federal Reserve adopted quantitative easing 2 and bought up assets from non-banks, forcing banks to create credit. It was very clear it was going to create inflation. It was going to create inflation. This was not an error in judgment. It was intentional. Professor Werner explained. It's a very specific policy that is very rarely taken, except, of course, if they want to basically tyrannize all of us and force all of us into a new type of banking system where you're forced to put a chip under your skin. Proof that this was a deliberate action, Professor Werner said, was that, quote, just before COVID in August of 2019, there was a conference in Jackson Hole of the annual Central Bankers Conference, but it invited BlackRock, the big asset manager, and BlackRock made a proposal. They said there will be another crisis, but this time we should create inflation. Imagine that. They never, though, explained why. They just said we must create inflation, and here's how we're going to do it. And they cited, says Professor Werner, my proposal, without mentioning my name, of course. there's one more factor, Professor Werner said. The Federal Reserve hired BlackRock in March of 2020 to buy assets. Quantitative easing was for a deflationary situation, but the way they were using it had to cause inflation. There was no doubt. And they knew it because they even said it, okay? And they knew it because they even said it, all right? So go on to read the rest of this article. This is very damning. Of course, they want to force everyone to put a chip under their skin. And this last part says it all. At the moment, there's talk about CBDCs being used via phone-based apps. Yes, that is the initial phase. But what was already around in 2015 is the ultimate goal. What they really want, apparently, I was told by a central banker, is a central bank digital currency, okay, that looks like a small grain of rice that they want to put under your skin, which in my view is a violation of human dignity, et cetera, okay? There you go, folks. And of course, they want to put everyone on a basic income of like 2,000 euros a month. And of course, if you're a bad boy or girl, they'll take away units away from your account and they'll make you starve, all right? This is absolute freaking tyranny. And of course, you can see the related video here. I'm not going to play it because of copyright violations, etc. Please read the full article on our site, GreekNewsOnDemand.com. Thank you for listening.
Switch to Google Fi Wireless and get Simply Unlimited, our most affordable unlimited.
So with that,
the different
I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash, the honors to the apostles and elders, the GMS, the rule and teach well in scripture, salutations to Akim. They're doing this work in truth and faith and all sincerity. And Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next time, Shalom.